that, surely I have given you the Kawthar. Here we understand that the Kawthar that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us are the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And that well of the Ahlul Bayt is something which is never ending. Something from which we can constantly get guidance and constantly are getting guidance. We have all, majority of us may have been on the pilgrimage of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt. Yet how many of us can turn around and say that once I came back, I did not receive anything? All of us. Whoever has been to visit the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam will say that I was given something by the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. It is different that sometimes we understand straight away what the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have given us. Sometimes we at a later stage. But know that we will never return empty-handed from the shrines of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And our famous incident, a famous narration in regards to Hatim. He was famous in the Arab world as the most generous of the Arabs. And history says that he had a palace in which he had 40 doors. And the custom was that whoever wanted something would go to the doors, and whatever he asked for was given to him by Hatim. But the reason why he had 40 doors is that whoever went to the first door, Hatim would open the door and give whatever was asked, and then he would tell that same person to go to the second door. And the person went to all 40 doors and he was given something from all 40 doors by Hatim. But our Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are such that you only go to them once and whatever you ask for is given. And it is given in such a stage where you will not need to return back to the house of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam for anything. These are the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And it is because of them that we exist today. That we, the Shias of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we have been specifically created to mourn and remember Hussain ibn Ali. For instance, on the birth of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And the baby Hussain ibn Ali was in the arms of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he started to weep. Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayhi came and she saw that her father is weeping. And she asked, "Oh father, why are you crying? What has happened? You should be happy, you should be celebrating that. You have a grandchild, you have a grandson." The Holy Prophet replied, "Oh Fatima, Jibreel has just come to me and told me about the incident of Karbala and what will take place and the atrocities and the crimes which will take place against Hussain ibn Ali." And he then explained the whole incident to Fatima and she also started to cry. It came to a stage where Fatima then asked, "O Prophet, when this incident takes place, will you be present?" The Holy Prophet replied, "No." "Will Ali be present?" "No." "Will I be present?" "No." "Will Hassan be present?" The Holy Prophet replied, "No." Fatima once again started to cry and then said, "Then who will weep for my child? And who will weep for my son Hussain ibn Ali?" Here the Holy Prophet replied that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will create a nationality that will be specifically created to mourn for your son Hussain ibn Ali. We are that generation. We are that nation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to Fatima to Zahra. But once again I must ask that yes, Allah created us to mourn for Hussain ibn Ali. But is mourning for Hussain ibn Ali enough? Or the remembrance of Hussain ibn Ali is that we act upon the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. I always say that we as Shias, we are constantly making a mockery of our religion and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Reason being that we call ourselves the Shias of Hussain, we call ourselves the Shias of Ali, we call ourselves the Shias of the Holy Prophet, yet we do not act upon their teachings. How many of us follow the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam the way it should be? For example, you have the hadith, I'll give you an example, the hadith of our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. He says that those who do not place importance upon prayer will not have our intercession on the day of judgment. Now the question is, that placing importance upon prayer, what does that mean? Placing importance upon prayer, does it mean that I pray my namaz within the time limit that I have, or that I pray namaz the minute the time for namaz has set in? For example, namaz al-Zuhr is at 1 o'clock and it becomes qada at, for example, 6 o'clock. Placing importance upon prayer doesn't mean that I pray within this window of 1 to 6, or do I pray namaz at 1 o'clock when the time has set in? The importance upon prayer is that we pray when the time has set in. What do we do? When it's 1 o'clock, we look at our watches and say that we still have 6 hours to go. And I'll recite it at 6 o'clock. Or, there are not that many youth here. The example I give for the youth is football. If there's a football match going on, and the time for prayer sets in, do I stop watching and go pray my namaz? Or do I look at my watch and say that football is 90 minutes, I can pray afterwards? Or in 45 minutes they will have half time and I will go pray then? Or do I stop what I'm doing and go and pray namaz? In today's society, even in workplaces, even universities, they all have prayer halls. Every single airport, I travel a lot, every single airport that I've been to has a prayer hall. When time sets in, we go pray namaz. And understand that, and those of you who have gone through both phases, one is praying namaz on time, when the time sets in, and one is praying namaz whilst we have within the window, time frame. And you understand that when we pray namaz on time, when the time has set in, we feel at ease. And the rewards that we get are unaccounted for. I myself have gone through both phases where I myself was a youth at the time. And I used to have the same thought that I'm an avid football fan. When football used to set in, I used to ask, I've got time for namaz, let the football match finish, and I'll pray namaz then. And then came a stage where I started placing importance on prayer. And I realized the difference straight away. But at the same time, everything that we do must be with the clear intention that we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qurbatan ila Allah. Every action that we do. That whatever we do, if we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it turns into a form of worship. For example, you play with your children, you spend time with your children, you go to university, you go to work. If you do it qurbatan ila Allah, that same action turns into the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You go to get up for work in the morning, you step out of the house to go to work, you say qurbatan ila Allah. I'm doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and see how it turns into the worship and you're rewarded. Everything, we as human beings are naturally selfish. That's how we have been created. We only think of ourselves. And whatever is better for ourselves, that is what we do. Imagine if we do it qurbatan ila Allah, everything that we do qurbatan ila Allah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in line with the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim. That is also very important. That there's no point in me doing something qurbatan ila Allah, but it goes against the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim. Or we do something qurbatan ila Allah, it falls under a grey area. No, whatever you do it in line with the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim. The Ahlul Bayt alayhim taught us how to become the best of creations. That we have the song, we are Ashraf al-Makhluqat. We are the greatest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creations, and we can reach a stage where we are higher than the angels. But it all depends on our characteristics and our behavior. And the Holy Prophet, as Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, says that I came down for nothing but utammima makarim al-akhlaq, that I came to complete the etiquette and mannerisms of mankind. And you see that in the life of the Holy Prophet and the 14 Ma'sumin alayhim as-salam. Yet I, who call myself a follower of the Holy Prophet, do I see myself in the same category? Do I really believe that through my behavior, through my characteristics, am I an ambassador of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam or not? Right? I'll give you my own example. I'm an architect by profession. I graduated as an architect. And a very close friend of mine's. She's what you'd call today a non-practicing Muslim. After she graduated, she came to me and said that I'm finding it difficult at my workplace. She found a job and she was working in Dubai. I go, what seems to be the problem? She goes that I'm not respected by my peers. And I feel insulted on a daily basis. As a joke, I told her, have you tried wearing the hijab? I did not mean it seriously, as a joke. I said, have you ever tried wearing the hijab and going into work? She goes, no, that word. Let's experiment. Try it for 1 week, and then see what happens. She started wearing it. After a few days, she rang me back, and she goes that, I feel like a completely new person. I go, what do you mean? She goes, all of a sudden, the attitude of the people at my workplace have changed towards me. I go, have you changed something? Are you interacting in a different way? She goes, no. I just started wearing the hijab. And this is the unseen benefits of hijab. And at the same time, I don't want to be seen as someone who is anti-women. No, the hijab for women is hijab to cover themselves. The hijab of men is to lower their gaze. There's no point in, I've been in numerous communities where the men come and start complaining about the hijab of women. I told them, oh, have you protected yourself? Have you done your own hijab? And they asked, what do you mean? I go, your hijab is to lower your gaze. Had you lowered your gaze, you wouldn't be complaining about the hijab of women. Because you have completed your own hijab. You yourself are not doing your hijab yet, you're complaining about the hijab of women. We must know, we must accept and understand that women have a very important role in Islam. And Islam is the only religion which has given women equal rights. We looked over 1400 years ago towards the Holy Prophet and Bibi Khadija. Bibi Khadija was given the title of Malikat al-Arab 1400 years ago, the Queen of Arabia, because of her business intellect, because of her riches. 1400 years ago, women were given the right to vote when in the event of Ghadir, they pledged their allegiance to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Right? This Western world, which is constantly complaining about the fact that Islam does not give women equal rights. Study Islam. In the Western world, I'll give you the example of the UK. In the UK, women were not able to vote until the early 1900s. It was after World War I that women were given rights to vote in the UK. In Switzerland, women were not able to vote until the early 60s. In the UK, women were not able to purchase properties on their own name until 1975. Yet, they then have the audacity to come and speak about the fact that Islam does not give women equal rights. Islam is the only religion in existence which has given women equal rights. Or I would go as far as to say that Islam has given women more rights than it has men. But as human beings, as males, that we have stepped upon the rights of women. Our responsibility as ambassadors of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam to the society is that we teach them about our religion. And the best way to teach them about our religion is not from the stage, is not through speeches, but through our behavior and characteristics. That is the best way to introduce and propagate the religion of the Ahlul Bayt. The same way that the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. For instance, in Medina, a companion of the Holy Prophet came to the Holy Prophet and asked, and O Prophet, my whole family had become Muslims and we accepted your prophethood and the religion of Islam, but my 2 sons who went to Syria on a business trip have now become Christians. Do you give me permission to bring them back within the folds of Islam with the sword? The Holy Prophet replied, no. And he recited the ayat of the Holy Quran, La ikraha fi din, that there is no compulsion within religion. If you wish to bring your sons back within the folds of Islam, then bring them through your characteristics and behavior. And if we were to look at the Holy Prophet, the 2 biggest characteristics of the Holy Prophet, the 2 biggest titles given to the Holy Prophet before the advent of Islam was what? As-Sadiq and Al-Amin, the honest and the trustworthy. And once the Holy Prophet announced Islam openly, people flocked towards the Holy Prophet because of these 2 titles and nothing else. That they had heard, they knew that the Holy Prophet is honest and he is trustworthy. Therefore, whatever he is saying must be true. Therefore, people came flocking towards the Holy Prophet. Today, I was reading a book on the book of Dr. Tijani Samawi, who is the author of Then I Was Guided and numerous other books. I met him in Lebanon a few years ago, and we got to know each other and started speaking. As is with majority, the first question they ask him is, what made you convert to Shia Islam? And he said that, I'll give you the same example, but you will probably be able to understand it better than normal layman. Because I did not become Shia by looking at the Shia Muslims. I became a Shia by studying Shia Islam. And what he said sits completely true. That majority of those acts and actions that we do does not portray the Islam of the Ahlul Bayt, does not portray the teachings of the Holy Quran, the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas we should constantly be reminded of ourselves that we are followers of Khatamun Nabiyyin, the seal of all prophets, 124,000 prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent, and our prophet is the greatest of them all. But I remember when I was a child, I went shopping with my father, and my father has a habit that whenever he comes back home, he tallies the receipt with the goods that he has purchased. We got home and my father saw that the cashier had not charged us for a bag of apples. And he gathered all me and my brothers and sisters together, sat us down, and said that the cashier has not charged us for these bag of apples. What do you think I should do? And we looked at each other and we said that, eat it. It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But my father said, no, it's not right. We haven't paid for it. Therefore, we should go back. We went back the next day and went to the same cashier and said that, these are the bag of apples, this is the receipt from yesterday, you haven't charged me. I had to take them back or ask them to take the money from me. Because it had already gone into the register and she did not know what to do. She called in the manager. Manager came in, looked at my father and said, after hearing the whole incident, tell me, goes, are you a Muslim? My father said yes. What makes you think? My father asked, what makes you think that I'm a Muslim? The manager replied that this action which you have carried out is the teaching of your holy prophet. I am a student of theology. He was Christian. And this is what every prophet of God has taught mankind. But I'm just going to come down to the same way that as a child I thought that it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's make the most of it. How many That's just one aspect of life. What about the rest of our actions that we do? If something happens, do we always think of it as a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or do we see it as a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We all heard that whenever that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, surely Allah will test His followers through the most ardent, most difficult of examinations. Yet, we must understand that the most difficult of exams, majority of the time, are the easiest. That we do not think into it. I say this to you, that as a practicing Muslim, we must constantly think twice, thrice, before we do any act. Think about the deed that I do, how will it reflect upon my religion? How will it reflect upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose ambassador I am in today's society? We follow the norms created by society. We forget the norms created by Islam. Islam is the greatest culture. Islam is the most complete of traditions. Islam is the most complete society. Now, how do I follow that society? It's for each and every single one of us individuals to make our own decision. Do I practice religion the way it should? Or do I pick and choose my religion? Now, this aspect of religion I like, therefore I take it on board. This aspect of religion I do not like, therefore I will not accept it. And we must understand the reason that we do not like certain aspects of Islam is because of our own shortcomings. And for us to understand, we must increase our intellect and our knowledge. And we must know that that knowledge can only be gained through the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and nowhere else. You go to any other person to seek religion and know that you will be in loss. If you wish to be successful in life, then we must understand that we have to follow the path of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, because they are the complete living religion on this earth. In every aspect of life, we've gathered to commemorate the events of Karbala. Karbala, which gave an example for every single age group, from a 60-month-old child to an 81-year-old man. Every age group, both male and female, were present in Karbala, from whom we can take lessons, from whom we can understand the purpose of life on this earth. That the companions of the Ahlul Bayt in Karbala, they're not infallibles. They're not ma'asoom sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're known people like me and you. Yet, 1400 years on, and they're still being remembered. We can be remembered in the same way, as long as we follow and live our lives according to the teaching of Allah. Every age group. Following Islam is not difficult. We have made it difficult upon ourselves, because we think of Islam as a religion. That's our greatest mistake. Never think of Islam as a religion, but think of Islam as a way of life. The minute we start thinking of Islam as a religion, everything becomes a burden upon me. I'll give you my own example. I'm a diabetic. I was diagnosed as a diabetic when I was 11 years old. And I love chocolates. I love fizzy drinks. And I was put on insulin, yet I never took my insulin on time. I never looked after my health. Kept on eating chocolates and sweet and fizzy drinks. It reached the stage where I ended up in a coma. Once I came out, my father, my mother, my brothers, they all begged me to start looking after myself. Up until that stage, I thought of my diabetes as an illness. Therefore, looking after myself, making sure that I take my medication on time, became a burden for me. But the minute I changed my thought. And I started to think of my diabetes as a way of life. Everything became easy for me. Everything. I started looking after my health, what I eat, what I drink, took my insulin on time. And it reached a stage where I got into the habit of it. Everything. Think of Islam as a way of life and put yourself into the habit of it. For example, namaz. I remember youth came to me. He goes, Malana, I'm stressed out, I'm depressed. I go, what's happened? He goes, I've never prayed namaz, but I want to start. And I asked one of the Maulanas, and they said, it's haram what I'm doing. And I must start praying namaz all at once. I turned around and asked him, that in your eyes, what is the most difficult prayer? He goes, Zohrain. I go, why? Well, because it's the longest. 4 rakat for Dhuhr, 4 rakat for Asr. I go, that's not the most difficult. In fact, that is probably the easiest. I go, the most difficult prayer is namaz al-subh. 2 rakat namaz, getting up in the morning. Even the 2 rakat namaz is not difficult. It is that getting up from the comfort and the warmth of your bed, getting up, opening the tap and finding out the tap is, the water is freezing cold. Doing wudu and getting up for prayer. That is the most difficult. And I apologize. Look at yourself and think which one of these prayers, your morning, your afternoon, or your evening prayers, which one is the most expensive, most difficult. And just one prayer, put yourself into the habit of it. For example, namaz subh is the most difficult. Or forget about Zuhr, forget about Maghrib. Forget these 2 prayers. Put yourself into the habit of namaz al-subh. Once you're in the habit of reciting namaz al-subh, then start on your second prayer. After the namaz al-subh, your most difficult is your Zuhrain prayers. Why? Because it's in the middle of the day, you might be at university, you might be at work, you might be out. Therefore, that's the most difficult. Your evening prayers are the easiest because you're at home most of the time. Unless you're in the UK where in the winter namaz before that, Maghrib is at 4 p.m. But Zuhrain is the most difficult because you're at work. Therefore, put yourself into the habit of that. Once you have put yourself into the habit of your Zuhrain prayers, then go on to Maghrib. And in every aspect of religion, do it in the same way. But understand, more important than doing your prayer on time is understanding the importance of prayer. More important than fasting the holy month of Ramadan is understanding fasting. More important than completing Hajj is understanding the philosophy and the mysticism behind these acts. Fasting, we're told that we fasted the holy month of Ramadan because we're told to be constantly reminded of those who are less off than me. Those who are poor, those who do not know have food to eat or drink. Therefore, we're constantly reminded of that. Fasting is only that aspect of fasting is only minor. Thinking about the poor is a minor aspect of fasting. Majority is jihad bin nafs. That's the most important aspect of fasting. That in the holy month when you're fasting from sunrise till sunset, you learn to control your nafs, your soul. That soul which will be ever living. That soul, that nafs which is eternal. This physical body will die. Buried 6 foot under, and within a few days you start rotting. But that nafs, that soul, is everlasting. The same way you eat to keep your physical body fit and healthy. You do these wajib acts, you do these worship, the fasting, the Ramadan, fasting in the holy month of Ramadan, the prayers on a daily basis, and Hajj, all these wajib acts in Islam, you do it to keep your soul fit and healthy. And then you have to understand that how can I better myself? You have the 3 souls in the Holy Quran. Majority of us, the 3 souls are Nafs al-Amara, Nafs al-Lawama, and Nafs al-Mutma'inna. Nafs al-Lawama is that the first soul is that soul where we do not feel anything. We do whatever we want, whether it's right or wrong, without thinking of the consequences. The second that's where majority of us fall under. Is that whatever we carry out, we think about the consequences. If there's something which we have done which is incorrect, we will seek forgiveness. And the third is that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws at us, we are at ease with it. Now, majority of us fall under the second category, where we do these, at the end of the day, we are not ma'soom. At the end of the day, we at times will fall under our desires, our worldly desires. But worldly desires, there's nothing wrong in carrying out your worldly desires as long as you have completed your responsibility and your duty towards Islam. Once you have done that, as long as those worldly desires fall within the framework of Islam, there's no harm in it. For example, you have a sect of, in the Muslim world, which are completely right-wing. And they say that everything is, for example, haram. But as long as it falls within the boundaries and framework of Islam. I got in a discussion that stated that playing sports is haram. I was playing football and you're an imam, you should know that playing sports is haram. I go, why? Well, it's because you're wasting your time. Oh, have you ever thought that I'm playing football to keep fit? Islam tells us to keep a fit and healthy body. What if I'm playing football with that niyat in mind? Everything that we do, there's always a flip side to the coin. Everything. One side of the coin is whether it's Islamic or not. The other side is that if it is within the boundaries of Islam, how am I able to better it? This is what you have to look at, that aspect of life. Two things. One is, if it falls within the boundaries of Islam. Second, if it is, am I able to better it or not? My worship, my ibadat. The children are coming. I'll ask you, that when you pray namaz, your namaz al-maghrib, how quick do you complete it? 3 minutes, if you're alone. But if your parents walk in, that same 3 minute namaz al-maghrib turns into 7-8 minutes. Yes? Why? Because my father just walked in. If he sees me praying namaz al-maghrib in 3 minutes, as soon as I finish, I'll probably get slapped. What kind of namaz is this? Finishing in 3 minutes. Pray it again. They understand that you have committed shirk, which is the greatest of sins. That you're now no longer praying purely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you've also praying for your father, for your parents. Therefore, if you pray namaz in 3 minutes, as long as you're doing it correctly, there's no harm. But everything that we do it for qurbatan ila Allah. And today we must understand the importance of Moharram. The youth will ask that we hear the same stories year in, year out for the 10 days of Moharram. Year in, same incident, nothing changed. Therefore, why do we need to, for example, commemorate Moharram or attend the majalis, the lectures in these 10 days of Moharram? Understand that the same way that our intellect does not remain the same year in, year out. Our intellect, in fact, changes on a daily basis and increases on a daily basis. As our intellect increases and changes on a daily basis, our understanding of Karbala changes as well. That understanding of Karbala which I had last year is not the same understanding that I have today. Today I understand Karbala better than I did last year because my intellect changed. Know that the event of Karbala is everlasting and will remain until the day of judgment. And these 10 days of Muharram are what keeps us alive. The same way in Western culture you have the New Year's resolution. Muharram is the New Year's. for the Muslim. It's the first of the new year, first month. We should also have a New Year's resolution on Moharram. But my New Year's resolution should be how to become a better Muslim. My New Year's resolution should be how I'm able to learn from Hussain ibn Ali, how to become a practicing Muslim. Not to look at what society thinks of Islam, but what does Hussain ibn Ali tell you about Islam? The minute we make these resolutions and we bring these changes about in our lives, see how sweet our religion becomes for us. You have the example of Janab al-Qasim. You have the incident of Ali Akbar. That when they were asked by Hussain ibn Ali, what do you think of death? Janab said, death to us is sweeter than honey. Why did they all say that? Because they knew that they had practiced their religion according to Allah and the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt. If we as Shias of Hussain ibn Ali were asked the same, that what do you think of death? We should be in a position where we are able to reply in the same manner. That death to us is sweeter than honey. Because I know that I have practiced my religion the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted me to. And though I am not perfect, I know that I have tried my best in practicing my religion. The same way, when it comes to exams, your careers, what do? You want to make sure that you have done your best, tried 110%. After that, you have nothing to fear. Salute. It should be exactly the same with religion. That as long as I have tried my utmost best and with the sincerity of the heart, then I should not fear anything. That is what Kabbalah teaches us. وصلى الله على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور اللهم اغن كل فقير اللهم اشف كل جائع اللهم اكس كل عريان اللهم اقض دين كل مدين اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب اللهم رد كل غريب اللهم فك كل عسير اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من امور المسلمين اللهم اشف كل مريض اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك اللهم اقض عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر انك على كل شيء قدير. صلوات. Just a quick question, that if anyone thinks that my topic is boring or they wish that they want me to change the topic, please do let the management know and I will change accordingly.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أزور سيدي ومولاي معتمدي ورجائي ذخري وذخيرتي في آخرتي ودنياي أبا عبد الله الحسين أصالة عن نفسي ونيابة عن والدي ووالدي والدي ومن أوصاني دعاء أو زيارة. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك منا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعلهما الله آخر العهد منا لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أنصار الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أبي الفضل العباس وأختهما زينب ورحمة الله وبركاته، والفاتحة تسبقها صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على Just a reminder for the ladies to evacuate within the next few minutes, please, for the men to be coming to this morning. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
قال معي من باكر
अगर किसी के पैर में घुस गया ना तो काम हो जाएगा नहीं ना
ناخذ ماي.